Hi everyone, welcome back to the session. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. So today we will be discussing about an audit and its process. Yesterday we have been discussing about an implementation part that if inside an organization, if we want to implement anything, any control and any particular clause, what will be the process? Okay, and today we are going to understand from an auditor perspective how we are going to process those things. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get started. So this will be our agenda for the day: understanding the roles and responsibility of ISO 27001 lead auditor. What is the process of an audit? How to prepare for a certification if you are planning for an exam? What will be the process? How you can aim for the certificate? Then post to that, we will be discussing few of the interview questions that you may expect. So this will be our agenda for the day. The first thing comes over here when we are talking about a lot of an audit. Okay, what is an audit actually? Okay, so as you see the definition which has been given onto your screen, audit is a systematic, independent and documented process for obtaining objective evidence and evaluating it objective to determine the extent to which the audit criteria are being fulfilled. Okay, so audit is what? It's a systematic, independent and documented process. Now when we talk about unsystematic, what is systematic means? It means a step-by-step approach. Okay, audit will always go with a step-by-step approach, a systematic process. And when we talk about an independent means what? No conflict of interest. Okay, and the third thing over here is your documentation. Now documentation means what? Everything when we start the process of an audit, every step need to be documented. Okay, so audit is what? It's a systematic, independent, under documentation process. Okay, now the purpose of doing this audit is what? To gather an evidence. That will be our objective, isn't it? So when you are doing an audit, anything you reach to a conclusion, now that conclusion will be challenged. Okay, if anyone has been challenging to your conclusion, what you are going to provide? You are going to provide an evidence. For example, you had attended this training. Okay, on to the next day, you asked, or you propose, or you send an email to an InfosecTrain that you have attended the training. Now you want a certificate for this. Okay, so InfosecTrain will be cross-verifying the things whether you have gone through the training. If you have gone through the training, what is the evidence? Evidence is you had filled the evaluation form or you have filled that a feedback form at the end of the day. Okay, with your ID you had logged in inside this training, isn't it? So that will be an evidence. So if anyone has been challenging your evidence, you can showcase that document or you can showcase that information. Okay, so that is an evidence in perspective of an auditing as well. Whatever information has been collected need to be showcased. Okay, and it will be evaluated by the auditor to determine whether the criteria have been fulfilled or not. Okay, so this is your small definition about an audit. Okay, now post to this, if I'm an auditor, what will be my roles and responsibility as an auditor? Okay, so there are generally two aspects. Okay, so we say that top management should be assigning top level responsibilities and authorities. Okay, and two aspects are what? Responsibilities for ensuring that ISMS has been fulfilled, requirement of your ISO 27001. Second will be responsibilities for monitoring what is been performed, that is your ISMS, and that need to be reported to your top management. Okay, so responsibilities are what? Responsibilities to implement the control, and that control need to be documented throughout. Okay, your risk treatment plan, how the risk treatment plan is been processed. So whatever you can say, inside an organization we generally go with this risk treatment plan. Okay, what is a decrease of risk, what is a risk avoidance. So for that we have some methodology. Okay, is there any risk sharing treatment, or is there any retain acceptable risk? Okay, again it will be coming under to your risk treatment plan that need to be defined. Onto the basis of that risk treatment plan, you are going to add the control. Okay, so control as in we have an annexure, A6, A7, A8, A7.2, A9.1. So these are your annexure which is been defining about talking about the responsibilities of several places. So however, we are not going in depth about each and every annexure. Basically it will give you you can say a defined item about all the appropriate objective. Okay, now option one will be your top level responsibilities. Top level responsibilities are what? Ensuring the ISMS has been fulfilled. Okay, now who generally release this thing? The top management is your CCSO. He will be saying that what need to be implemented. Okay, we required this thing, ISO 27001. Let's go ahead and request for this. Okay, then the implementer will be coming into the picture and he will be following the step by step approach which we have discussed yesterday. Okay, now for in bigger companies it will be a bit complex to design an ISMS. Okay, for example, let's take an example over here. We have a small organization. For a small organization, generally let's say 15 to 20 employees. Now over here your CCSO can act, or he can also work as an implementer over here. Okay, he can look for the reports, and onto the basis of that report the gap assessment will be performed, and followed by implementation can be done. Okay, so what we are doing over here, we are simply narrowed down our work culture over here. Now if it is a big organization, for that the responsibility will be changed. Okay, you will be required a team over there, a team who will be taking part or who will be taking care of an policies, a team who will be taking care of an plan, a team who will be doing a documentation part, a development part. Okay, so over there the roles and responsibilities will be changed. That is also taken care by your auditor. Okay, ISMS documentation part, you can say the review part, to see how employees have been collaborating with your implementation, what steps have been used to do and documentation. All these things are necessary. Okay, and one more thing I want to add up over here. When we talk about audit, there are different types of it. Okay, so types of it will be, generally there are three types of an audit: first party audit, second party audit, and third party audit. Okay, now first party audit will be you can say it's an internal audit. Okay, so basically known as an internal audit, as what this first party audit, what the auditor will be doing, they will be self checking. Okay, so self checking of an company will be done. They will be seeing how all things have been working. Is there have been all the controls have been working perfectly fine or not, if everything is under control or not. They can give an advice as well to make things better. They can add up an value to an organization to check whether the company itself can have this management review. Okay, they can propose some certain controls over here. Okay, so that has been taken care by your internal auditor, or we also call it as a first party audit. Then comes over here is your second party audit and third party audit. Now second party and third party audit are both known as an external audit. The main difference between these two is second party audit is being conducted by the parties that have a interest in the audit. For example, client, your customer. Okay, they required a certificate. Now over there the certificate body, or you can say the external auditor, or the You can say the freelancer will be coming over here and he will be performing an audit. Okay, then there is a third party audit. Now this third party audit is been conducted by external or independent audit organization like your certification body, governmental agencies. Okay, so they will be performing this third party audit. If your organization is going for a certification over there, there will be an internal audit, stage 1 audit, and after that there will be a stage 2 audit. Now stage 2 audit has been done by whom? Second party or third party? It will be done by your third party because it's a certification body. Okay, if you don't have an auditor, you want to test all the controls. Okay, it's been implemented, you want to perform it, you want to cross check, cross verify, or you are taking any service with a client, so he will be coming into your organization to perform an audit. That will be your second party audit. Okay, now along with this, when we generally talk about the second party and third party audit, there's a few more things. Okay, few more things, as in types of an audit, we have opinion based audit as well, pre-assessment audit as well, and certification audit. Now opinion auditor will be, you can say it's a recommendation or an advice given by an auditor. Okay, so it has been conducted by any consultants. Okay, if you are an auditor, you can do it and you can give a suggestion to an organization. So when organization decide for a certification, generally they take an opinion from such auditor, from such external auditor. Okay, somebody who is been taking care of an ISMS, so you can take an advice from them, you can take a recommendation from there. Okay, so approach or an opinion is been given by them. Then we have is your pre-assessment audit. Now this pre-assessment audit is to prepare for a certification. Okay, so certification body will be conducting an pre-assessment audit. Now this audit would be prepared by an organization for certificate. They will be going with a stage 1 audit. After stage 1 audit, there will be a stage 2 audit. Now between stage 1 and stage 2 audit, there will be an preparation of an audit. That is your pre-assessment audit. Okay, and third one is your certificate audit. After the pre-assessment, the certificate body will be sending an auditor to the inside an organization and the task will be performed. That will be your certification audit. So generally there are three stages in types of an audit. One is your opinion based audit. Advice will be given, advice will be taken, or recommendation will be taken from an external auditor. Then there is a pre-assessment of an audit. Before an external audit, a pre-assessment need to be done, and after that the certification audit. The certificate body will going to send an auditor to your organization and the audit will be performed. Stage 2 audit, we also call it as a stage 2 audit. Okay, now in this there are a lot of people have been involved while performing an audit. So we have audit client. Okay, audit client will be your organization person who will be requesting for an audit. There will be an auditee. Auditee will be an organization. There will be an audit team. Okay, so let's say they are let's say XYZ organization want to go with foreign certification. Now to go for a certification, certificate body will be sending an team over there depending on to the size of the organization. If the organization is having a good strength, around 500 to 1000 employees, they will be sending a team because one single person cannot perform an audit. Okay, so we have an stages over there. So between 100 to 200, how many what will be the strength required. Okay, so each and everything is been calculated. So if a team is been sent to monitor that team, there will be an audit manager as well who will be taking care of his team, who will be giving an approvals, who will be discussing the things with an auditee. Okay, then there is an auditor in a with inside an audit team. Definitely there will be an auditor having with their best roles and responsibility. Let's say if I am having a knowledge about an audit and certification of an audit and a work experience into it, I can go with a certification audit. Okay, So I can register myself under to any certification body, and definitely you can work with them as an external auditor. Okay, then there is a technical expertise been required, because we cannot expect from an auditor that he would be having a complete understanding of an security. Okay, if you are having a complete understanding, that's you are having an extra edge of it, that's very great of it. Okay, if not, you will be required a technical expert. Now this technical expert will be provided by the auditee. Okay, for example, if I am performing an audit for an organization, I don't understand the, you can say, one particular domain, that is your accounts domain. I don't understand the accounts domain, how they have been working on. Okay, so over here I will be requesting to an auditee, can you send any you can say any account member or account manager, can you connect with him, can I connect with him to get a better understanding how the team has been working. Okay, so they will be sending that person, that person will be known as a technical expert to get a knowledge about it, to get an you can say to understand the environment or the work culture of that department. You can suggest, you can request for an technical expert. Not only that, if you're required, you can ask for an guide as well. Okay, guide will be taking care of each and everything. If you request for a document, it will be his responsibility to arrange that document. Okay, you can set up a meeting with an internal auditor as well, that how you had conducted this internal audit. Please explain me the report. Okay, you can set an interview session with your stakeholders as well. Okay, so that is again a part of it. Down the line we are going to discuss those things as well in the process of an audit. So generally, the main thing over here is your types of an audit. Inside that, who are been involved when we perform an audit. Okay, so what all peoples have been involved into this audit. So generally it starts within 5 days and it can goes up to your 28 days. Okay, so certificate bodies will be giving the auditor enough time to perform the audit. They will be they are going to make this time available. Okay, a scope will be discussed. After that, complexity will be discussed, field of activity will be discussed, number of an site of an audit will be discussed. Okay, post to that, how many extra auditor will be required, that is also been discussed. On to the basis of that, the number of days has been calculated. Okay, so after that there will be an again a thing, a sign of an NDA, that is again a part of it. Okay, now how the audit is been conducted, or what is the process for an audit. If I want to give a complete picture from start to an end about an audit program management, this is the process as you see onto the screen. Okay, so how your audit program management work. It starts with an initializing of the audit process, then we go with an stage 1 audit, then we go with an preparation of an stage 2 audit. Okay, then we go with an stage 2 audit, audit conclusion beyond the initial audit. This is the sixth step to perform an audit. Okay, performing an audit or claiming for a certificate. If you are doing an internal audit, this is the process. If you are going with a stage 2 audit, this will be the complete process for it. Okay, now let's understand a bit more about each and everything. Okay, now first thing is your initialization of an audit process. Okay, now in this, what generally we do when we are talking about initializing of an audit process, we go and appoint the audit team. Okay, so prior to that, approvals will be required. Okay, so once the approval has been received, after that we assign a team over there, or if it's a small organization, we go with a single auditor. Okay, now what the auditor is going to offer you? Auditor is going to offer a scope, auditor is going to offer a criteria. Okay, the scope has been defined, the criteria will be set, the duration of an audit will be set, audit team member, how many teams will be required, or how many more auditor will be required to perform an audit. Okay, what will be the roles and responsibility for each and every team member? We are going with an five member of an auditor. uh, the first auditor will be taking care of your HR domain, second auditor will be taking care of your uh, cloud domain, third auditor will be taking care of your security domain. So we are going to distribute their roles and responsibility. Okay, the limit of the audit engagement, and at the end is your, if it is an external audit, discussing about the commercials. Okay, so that will be the first stage. After that, appointment of a team leader, because to take care of that audit, or when we go with a team of an audit, who is going to derive that team? The team leader is going to derive. His approval will be required on that documentation. Whatever the findings are, he is going to cross verify those things. Okay, along with that, what the team leader will be doing, he will be planning an audit, he will be identifying and addressing the audit risk. Okay, making a communication between the auditee and the auditor. He will be the person who will be starting the meeting, who will be discussing about the criteria, who is going to introduce your team as well in front of an auditee, manage the whole team. Okay, so assigned roles and responsibility to each and every team member. If any conflicts has been happening inside that team, he is going to solve that problem. Okay, and at the end of the day, report preparation will be done by that audit team leader. Okay, so this comes under to the first process, accepting the audit mandate and appointing an audit team. Okay, so when we are appointing an audit team, each auditor, okay, should have a knowledge about an audit, should have a knowledge about an ISMS. Okay, not only that, he should understand the business process too, communication skills, basic knowledge of risk management, teamwork skills. This has been required. Okay, if he is sitting into that criteria, absolutely he will be assigned, he will be added into that team. Okay, so this has been selected by your, again, by your team leader. Okay, then as I had already discussed, how long the audit will be lasting, depending on to the strength of an organization, from 5 days to 28 days. Okay, and after that, NDA will be signed. Okay, agreement will be signed, determine the feasibility, audit feasibility, sign the certificate agreement. Okay, so certificate body, if it has been sent by a certificate body, so certificate body will going to sign an NDA, terms and condition, that you are not going to share any information. Again, if it is an internal audit, there will be no agreement over here. We won't, because they are already an employee of an organization, so there will be no agreement. If they have been hired to perform an internal audit, again, NDA will be signed. Okay, so it should be cleared with the top management and with the auditee. Okay, then established a contract with an auditee. Why we establish a contract with an auditee? So the team leader should is going to ensure that what audit we have been performing, it should be communicated with the auditee as well. Okay, post to that, meetings will be scheduled with the auditee. Okay, location will be specified, arrangement will be given, health and safety arrangement, security arrangement. Okay, agreeing on to the attendance as well, guidance as well, determining the area of an interest too, that will be established over here between auditee and the stakeholders or the management. Okay, and after that, define the audit schedule. Now the schedule will be listing your actions, that you are going to perform during the audit process, the timeline. Okay, a schedule for, you can say, it plays an crucial role, this schedule. Why it plays a crucial role? Because we don't know, the stakeholder might be flying somewhere or might be busy onto an XYZ day. So a schedule need to be defined, that when we are going to start an audit. Let's suppose the audit will be starting on an 1st of November. Okay, now we are already giving this details, this date in advance. So make sure your top management is available on 1st November and on 2nd November, so we can discuss all the scope, we can determine the feasibility, we can determine the roles. And this point, we can discuss about the audit process. Not only that, onto the second day we can go with an interview session, okay, to get an evidence that need to be defined at the initial stage. Okay, now once it has been done, then we go with an stage 1 audit. Now what is an stage 1 audit? Internal audit. In internal audit, what we are going to do, we are going to review the audit management system, its document. Okay, we are going to access all the site specific conditions as well. We are going to review and understand about the standard requirement. Okay, we are going to review your resources, the allocation of all the asset. Okay, gather more and more information that is setting onto that scope regarding to your management system. Okay, if it has been done, then check for the resources from stage 2 audit, obtain and planning for the stage 2 audit, evaluate the internal audit management system, review or plan it accordingly. So these are the steps of an stage 1 audit. So first we go with an preparation of an on-site, okay, activity. Now preparation of an on-site activity, so generally audit team will be carrying all this thing. Okay, they are going to review your audit document, the information including your security policies, operation procedures, list of inventories, records, all those things. Okay, so reviews will be done, evaluation of your document will be done. This will going to help the auditor to maintain the systematic structure approach. Okay, so conducting an on-site activity, prepare for an on-site activity, asking for all the document. Once the document has been reached, then we conduct an on-site activity. Now we are going to evaluate the location, the site specification, the condition of the site. Okay, then post to that we will be making contact with the persons as well to know whether they know about this SMS, whether they have an information about the controls, because we have added the control for a security perspective, for a security approach. So each and every team member should be having that information. We are gathering the evidence. Okay, so post to that, observing your technologies, what technologies have been used, if all those technologies have been listed. For example, any application has been used inside an organization. Now that application has been listed, are we going with unpaid the subscribed application, or it's a free one? Okay, which will also cause a problem if it is a licensed one, or it's a non-licensed one. If it is not a licensed one, then the owner of that application, what he can do, he can send an legal notice. So we will be observing these technologies, we will be observing all this thing, observing your general operation of an ISMS. Then post to that, we are going to review the documents. Okay, so documents will be collected before the operation. Documents for your, you can say, the work document, the process function document, which has been established during the ISMS process. Okay, so when the ISMS, you can say, the controls have been implemented, that have been documented, so we just asked for that document, and that document will be reviewed over here by the auditor. Okay, it's a verification stage, you can say, verification of your ISMS scope, verification of your uh, security policies, risk evaluation criteria. Okay, So what resources have been implemented, how it has been managed, who has given the approval, okay, who is taking care of this control, each and everything has been verified over here. Okay, now once this has been done, after that we go with an stage 2 audit, preparation of an stage 1 audit. Okay, now while preparing for a stage 2 audit, what we generally do, we plan the stage 2 audit, assign work to your audit team, prepare an audit test plan, prepare the documentation, inform for a stage 2 audit. Okay, now let's understand what are this thing. Okay, so when I'm saying that planning for a stage 2 audit, so in this there should be an objective. Okay, objective is what? To evaluate your ISMS, to check for the conformative and non major conformative or minor non conformative. Okay, to check the effectiveness of your implementation. Okay, so first we go with a planning of it. Now when the audit has been planned, so before that we will be going with a scope, the audit objective that need to be discussed. What is the scope of an audit? What are the identification, post audit identification, what we are going to do? Each and everything will be processed over there, and after that the criteria will be defined. Okay, so reference for an document information where this audit is, whether it's a virtual or whether it's a physical audit. Okay, so location need to be decided over here. On what date we are going to perform this audit? What is the expected time or duration to perform this activity to be conducted? Okay, when the meeting will be arranged onto the first day with the audit management. Okay, what will be the roles and responsibility of each and every team member, or each and every person in this team member? That again need to be discussed. Okay, after that assigned the roles and responsibility for that member. Okay, so if there are 5 members, roles will be assigned to them. Okay, prepare for an audit test plan. Over here what we are doing, we are planning for the review. The audit test plan means you are going to review the conformative and non-conformity over here. Okay, so this planning need to be adopted based onto the audit risk which has been identified based onto the scope. Okay, so preparing of an audit plan, again coming here, calling for an audit criteria objective. Once it has been done, then we go with an preparing the documentation information of an stage 2 audit. Okay, so over here the team member will be collecting and reviewing the information that is relevant to your audit assignment, like you can say the checklist. Okay, so we will be creating a checklist. What need to be audited, which is going to include your digital checklist, physical or digital checklist, sampling details, visual information. If it is an audio visual, or it is an digital visual, all those information. So we are preparing and document over here. Okay, so once it has been done, after that the stage 2 audit will begin. Okay, and one more thing, to prepare a checklist nowadays we have online tools also available, so you can use those tools to create your own checklist. So generally auditor carry its own checklist before an audit. Okay, and that is not been shared with an auditor too. If auditor will be asking, okay, share me the checklist or share me how you are going to perform the audit, no, you are not going to share those information. If certification body will be asking, you can share those details with them. Okay, now stage 2 audit, what has been saying, stage 2 audit has been saying conducting an open meet, collect information, conduct audit test, determine audit finding, draft non-conformity report, and conclude quality review. Okay, now conducting an opening meet, what we are doing over here, this is the beginning of your on-site audit. It has been recommended. So whenever you are going with an audit onto the first day, there should be an open meet. Open meet between whom? Between the audit team and the top management. In that, what we will be doing, we will be introducing our audit team to the to the audit top management, that what activity they will be undertaking. And when we will be doing this onto the first day, okay, what is the reason behind to conduct this thing? To collect an information in that suitable environment. And why we do it? To confirm, yes, from today onwards we will be starting with this audit, to confirm the audit test plan. Okay, so generally it starts with who, what, when, where, why. The 5 W's. Who? Between the auditee and the audit team. What is the reason behind to this meet? To introduce. Okay, introduction will be given that this is our team. In this team there are 5 members. These are their roles and responsibility, these are the capabilities, these are the certification, xyz, all other things. Okay, when this has been done, onto the first day, where it has been done, onto the site, if it is an on-site visit, and why it has been done, because we are going to perform an audit. This is our test plan that need to be discussed onto the day one. Okay, now who is going to propose this meeting? Your audit manager or your audit leader will going to propose this meeting. Okay, so before confirming the agreement with all the parties, with the audit team, audit test plan will be given. After that, the introduction of teams and their roles and responsibility will be discussed, that who is going to perform what action. That has been done, that has been taken care by your audit manager or the audit team leader. He is going to discuss all this information in front of an auditee. Okay, now once the meeting has been done, after that, what do we have? Collect information. Okay, now this collecting of an information can go into an 7 process or into an 8 process. Okay, so you can collect an information by observing the things. You can collect an information by looking at to the system configuration, by looking at to the indicators, by looking at to the database or to the website. From there also you can get an information that how this website has been built, what information has been stored, okay, where the information has been going, all those things. Okay, you can check for the records, whatever the records have been stored. Okay, let's say you have done a testing in last year, so show me the reports. Now those reports will be stored somewhere, so that is known as your records. Okay, documents, you can ask for a document. From that also you can cross verify all the things. Okay, if you are saying that you had maintained the document or you had introduced certain policies, now that policies is been documented somewhere. Because if you are saying that something has been implemented, it need to be recorded as well, it need to be documented as well. How you are going to testify all those things? So ask for that document, and that document will be again evaluated by the auditor. And then is your interview process. Okay, by interviewing the employees to know whether the controls are properly maintained or they have an information about it or not. Okay, so generally we call it as in 6 or 7 process of it. Observing, by observing the room, by observing, let's say an example, by observing the server room, how it has been locked with an magnet card or access card, what is the mechanism to go inside that server room. From there also I can get an evidence that everyone can go inside the server room. It will be causing a problem down the line. If everyone is having access, that is a dedicated thing. Why everyone is having access? You haven't put a control over there. Only the authorized person can go inside this place. Okay, so from there also you can get an evidence. System configuration, how the system has been configured, whether the firewall has been used, what is the demonstration of it, what website has been prohibited. Okay, so when we connect with an VPN or when we sit inside an organization, so we cannot browse any of their social media website. Why we don't do that? Because those have been prohibited. By whom? By your admin team. Okay, why they have done that? Anyone thought of it? If you are connected with a social media website, or if you are connecting with a social media website, this is an open portal. Anyone can send an anything. If you click onto that link, there can be a malware. Okay, so this restriction need to be made. So how we are going to cross verify those things? By looking at to the system configuration. What policies has been implemented inside that firewall? If DMZ has been used, if any server has been hosted inside an DMZ, how it has been working? Email mechanism. If any email has been received in my inbox, are those emails are been verified or tested? Okay, if I'm hosting any website, is that website has been secured? Is that website is having a certificate? On which date that certificate has been uh, you can say is been registered, or when it is getting expired? All those information. What is the public key? How that encryption has been working? All those information we can get it from an system configuration. Then we have a indicator. Indicators will be your dashboard. Okay, so you can onto your dashboard you can see or you can detect you can look for this incident. Any incident has been happening, it's been happened, you can look into the dashboard. So generally this is a part of an SOC. If you are having a SOC team, there will be an indicator, there will be a dashboard. If you are having IDS or IPS, that will again will be displayed onto your dashboard. So it's a part of your SOC team. Now then we have is your database. Again, we can get an information from a database, which employees is having an access to this database. Okay, or everyone is having an access to the database. From there also we can collect an information. Document what I said, document about your information policies, software installation policies. So we cannot directly install any software in our laptop. So for before to that, what we do, we raise for an request. Okay, a ticket will be raised. After that, admin team will be coming over to your place, and he will be using his own credential to install that application. Okay, so software installation policy, employee manual policy, reports. Okay, customer feedback, surveys, measurements, all this will be checked. Then we go with an interview with your network admin team to know how the network has been working, interview with your accounts team, how the accounts team has been operated. Okay, interview with your accounts manager or HR manager to know how you are going, how you collect the information and where you store all this information. From there also we can get an evidence. That is the reason behind to this. Why you are collecting this information? To gather an evidence. Why we collect an evidence? That are our audit finding, to draft non-conformative. Okay, but before to that, conduct audit test. Whatever the information has been collected, we are verifying all those things. Whatever information has been collected, we will be conducting a test on that information. Audit test will be performed or will be processed over here. Okay, we are going to examine all those documents, your paper documents or your electronic document. We are going to examine your process or procedures. Okay, you can examine through and site walk as well by observing things. Okay, and after that, what we have, determining audit finding, drafting non-conformative reports and conducting quality review. Okay, so audit evidence, whatever it has been collected against an audit criteria, so we are going to determine it as an audit finding. Okay, onto the basis of that audit finding, we can indicate conformative or not conformative based onto the criteria which is going to specify the audit plan. Okay, so it can be an individual audit finding or it can be an, you can say, a multiple audit finding based onto the good practice. Okay, so whatever evidence has been supporting, it is going to give an major non-conformity. We can draft it as a non-conformity report based on to that review, based on to that audit test. Okay. Now, as an auditor, you can give a recommendation as well. Okay. Opportunity for an improvement. Yes, you can do it. You can give the suggestion. It's up to the organization whether they want to take the suggestion or not. Okay. But more the times, organization do take the suggestion though required for that. It's not a mandatory process. Okay. If you want to give that information, you can give that information. You can add that information into the same document as a suggestion. Okay. So if you think so that there might be an helpful for an organization, you can always go with a suggestion. Okay. So audit team will leader is going to verify all those things. He is going to read your document. Once the document is been done, okay, once it has been drafted, then we go with an audit conclusion. So as of now, it is a document which you have collected the evidence from the information, different types of sources. Okay. Onto the basis of that evidence, you had drafted the conformative and unconformative. Now there is an audit conclusion. As an auditor, I cannot conclude my report. Author is never going to conclude it. Okay. Or author is never going to approve his own report. Okay. For example, as of now, we are sitting into a platform and discussing about an audit approach. Okay. I am delivering this particular webinar. So myself, I cannot audit this training program. So who is going to audit this training? Someone from an InfosecTrain. He is going to audit this. How the training program has been going. Okay. Are we following the step-by-step approach or not? Okay. Everything has been covered over here or not. So the person who is from an InfosecTrain, he will going to perform, he is going to evaluate this training. Okay. So same over here. As an auditor, you are not going to go with an approval for it. For that, we have an audit team leader. So audit team leader will going to go with an conclusion. Okay. So review will be done. After the review, after the audit finding, the quality review has been done, and after that there will be an audit conclusion. Okay. Now in audit conclusion, what did we go with? Determining and agreeing onto an audit conclusion, drafting an audit conclusion, conducting and close meet, prepare and distribute the audit report, and make the certificate decision. Okay. Now, what is happening over here? Audit has been processed. Now, after that, audit team leader is going to determine, or he is going to agreeing onto the conclusion, whatever the conclusion is. Okay. That conclusion need to be discussed with your team leader. Okay. So I got a non-conformative. Let's go ahead and discuss this information. Now, not only you are going to discuss with your team leader, you are going to discuss with your team member as well. Okay. So always go with this process. Okay. So generally, because everyone will be having their own set of suggestions, you can take their suggestion, and whatever has been correct, or whatever you think is incorrect, go with it. Okay. Because we are working as a team when the audit has been processed. Okay. So it can be your, you can say, a systematic, it can be a satisfied judgment as well. So based on to that, the conclusion need to be decided. Okay. Because onto your conclusion, onto that conclusion, the decision of a certificate will be made by the certificate body. Okay. Now let's come back over here. Determining and agreeing the audit conclusion. Okay. Drafting the audit conclusion. Okay. Let's everyone has been agreeing on, and I'm also agreeing onto this. Let's draft this conclusion. After that, conducting and close meet. Okay, in conducting and closing meet, that will be discussed. Okay, this is the audit findings. This is your non-major, non-conformative. Okay, we got this information, we reported this information, and then after that, close the meet and prepare to distribute your audit report. So what I said till here, it was a document. Okay, after that, your audit manager has reviewed your report. He has agreed on to your conclusion. Once the conclusion has been agreed, after that, drafting an audit conclusion, start with and reporting. Okay, your document will be converted into a report. Okay, close the meet and distribute that report to the stakeholders of the audit of the organization and to the certification body. Okay, once it has been distributed, after that, certification body is going to make a decision, make a certificate decision. Again, this has been done by your, you can say, by the auditor as well, by the auditor, sorry. Okay, so he can make a decision. Now decision has been made on to your confirmative. Okay, what are the findings? Onto the base of that finding, the decision will be made, isn't it? And who is going to make this decision? Your auditor can also do it. Okay, now let's say if it is a major non-conformative, information has been provided, post to that suggestion has been provided, after that days will be given. Okay, so for example, it's you can solve this thing into 15 days. So generally it goes between 14 to 40 days. Okay, so within this, how much time will be required for that organization to patch that thing, to add a control or to pass that vulnerability, whatever the non-conformative is, to pass that non-conformative. Okay, now let's say that organization has been saying we are going to be required 30 days. So both the teams will be agreeing, your auditee and the auditor will be agreeing onto this. After 30 days, what is going to be happen? The sixth phase of this, beyond the initial of an audit. Conduct audit follow-up activity. That will be your audit follow-up activity. Because you had reported non-conformative, major non-conformative. Onto the basis of that, certificate is been pending. Now to gain foreign certificate or to go with a recertification, this process is for recertification as well. Not only to gain a certificate, if you already have a certificate and you are going with a recertification, certificate is valid for 3 years. Okay, so every year there will be an external audit. It will be an planned audit. It's never going to be an unplanned audit. Okay, so in that we identified the major non-conformative. Decision has been made that within 30 days they are going to patch up this thing. After that, we are going to conduct as a follow-up activity, conduct surveillance activity. That will be your post to stage 2 audit, surveillance activity or surveillance audit. Okay, so we are not going to audit the complete thing again, never, because it will be again a time consuming. Only that practice, only that point where the non-conformity has been reported. Okay, so let's say they have patched that vulnerability, plan and conduct recertification of an audit. Certificate will be provided. And after that, there will be an recertification audit in next year. Okay. And let's say this is for the first time they are going with a certificate has been provided, and then they will be going with a recertification. Already they have a certificate. Onto the second year, there will be a recertification. But in between to that, definitely they will be going with a stage 1 audit. That will be your internal audit. Okay, by what time, with whom you had interviewed this session, give that information. What is the role of that employee, give that information. What missing link you had collected from that interview, give that information. And that information should not be shared with anyone. It will be updated only into an report. Having an understanding of an ISMS is must. Talking about information security management. Okay, so once you have a basic knowledge of it, post to that, when we start performing with an audit, we gain more and more knowledge. We talk about more of an security. We talk more about an asset. Now to secure that asset, what has been required? Okay, so that has been discussed during this process. So you have a team of it. You can discuss with your team. You can discuss with the audit management, audit manager, or audit particular. You can say any technical. You can take an technical advice over here as well. Okay, so you can ask for a technical expert. Okay, so we are not expecting this thing with an auditor. He should be having a complete understanding of each and everything. Okay, so he can take an advice of a technical expert to understand more about the system, to understand more about that software what has been used, or XYZ thing what has been used. Okay, now next thing comes over here. Let's suppose if you want to go for this certification, how you will be preparing for that lead implementer or lead auditor exam. What will be the process and how you will be claiming for it. Okay, so these are few steps you can easily go with. First, gain a knowledge and experience. Okay, gain a knowledge and experience on what? Onto your ISO 27001 standard and its requirement. Get familiarized with the concept, with the ISMS, with the auditing principle. Okay, so once you have a basic thing, basic knowledge of an information security management and auditing, after that go with a training. Attend a lead auditor, lead implementation training course. Okay, now to whom you can go with, always go with that aggregate training provider. Look for a training program specifically covering your ISO 27001 lead auditor or lead implementer. Okay, talking about a certification. This course will going to provide you in-depth knowledge about the standard, in-depth knowledge about an audit technique and their best practices. Okay, post to that, preparation, exam preparation, course material which will be provided during this training program. Review the 27001 audit standard. Okay, standard related document. Go with an best practice as well. We have multiple things online available, online materials as well. You can look for that. You can look for other resources which are nowadays freely available. Okay, so go with that. Once it has been prepared, after that register for an exam. Okay, so how much time is been required? Let's say if you are planning for a lead auditor or lead implementer, what generally I suggest to all of my students. Okay, so once you go with a training, after that plan for an exam in between 30 to 45 days. You can easily clear the exam. Don't extend it much. Why? Because we keep on forgetting the things. Register for an exam. In this preparation, solve more and more number of an question, talking about a lead implementer, talking about a lead auditor. Once it has been done, register for an exam, go for a certification. Nowadays, most of the exam are your MCQ based and scenario based question has been asked. Okay, so you can go with any of the certification body. One more thing, go with the recognized one who is reputed and recognized and very well known, setting into the market from a very long time, like IGC, like TUV, PCB. So these are the very well known body. IGC again, it's a very well known body. So you can go with this. You can register the exam under to this body, and after that, go with the exam. Once it has been done, practice the experience. Okay, start involving or start discussing this thing with an internal audit team. Understand more and more information from them. Okay, talk with connect with the people over on LinkedIn channel who are taking care of an audit, who are talking more about an audit. Connect with them to get an more experience. Okay, go for an internal audit inside your organization. Okay, which will give you an experience about a lead auditor, about a lead implementer. Okay, and after that certificate will be valid till the next recertification has been done. So as of now we are using the 2022 list, so 22 will be updated after 5 years. So after 5 years you will be going with a recertification. Your the certificate will be validated for 5 years.